Namaskar and welcome. My name is Acharya Satyamitrananda Avaduta, and the topic I will present today is about Astaunga Yoga. First, the word yoga means unification. Two things are unified, not just unified, they are merging and they are becoming one. And in the scriptures, yogic scriptures, it said, Sam yogo ityuktu jivatmana paramatmana, which means yoga is the unification between the small individual soul with the infinite cosmic soul, or we can say the small consciousness, the small human consciousness with the infinite supreme consciousness. That's a big step from going from human to divine. So we can easily understand that journey that needs a very systematic approach. One cannot achieve anything great in life without being very systematic, and there's no difference in yoga. So that movement towards that supreme consciousness, that is not a journey out in the universe. It is an introversive movement into the mind, where one enters deeper and deeper into the mind. And as one goes deeper into the mind becomes calmer and calmer, more and more pure, more and more subtle. And eventually, mind is so subtle that there's no vibration anymore. It is completely peaceful, completely silence, no vibration. It's like a straight line. And that is the state of divinity. This Astaunga Yoga with the 8 limbs, which we will introduce here today, must not be confused with another modern path of yoga postures, of yoga asanas, which has also been given the name Astaunga Yoga. But that's a purely physical exercise. This is very common now, practiced in the various yoga studios worldwide. Astaunga Yoga, or the different elements in Astaunga Yoga, appeared first in the teachings of Shiva about 7,000 years ago. Then the same elements appears in the system of Patanjali, another great yogi, about 2,300 years ago. And he was the one who gave it the name Astaunga Yoga. And the reason why it's called Astaunga is because Ashtanga comes from the word Ashta, and Ashta means 8, because Astaunga Yoga have 8 different limbs. And those limbs are Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. So that's 8 different limbs. And these 8 different limbs of Astaunga Yoga are also known as Raja Yoga. Raja means king, so Raja Yoga means it's a very high, very advanced path. The 2 first elements, Yama and Niyama, has been introduced in a previous video, so I will today start with the 3rd principle known as Asana. Asana is the physical postures, the yoga postures. Definition of asana is Stira Sukham Asanam. That means asana is a comfortably held pose. That must always be bear in mind that it must always be comfortable. It should never be any pain, never be any discomfort when we practice asana. Asana affects different aspects of the human body. It affects the tissues, organs, nerves, and glands. Tissues is like the muscles, fascia, ligaments, tendons. It affects the organs, the heart, liver, kidneys, digestion, nervous system, and the glandular system, and the mind too. And that's very important. And that's what we will focus on. We'll focus on how the asana influences the mind, because that is what we need for meditation. If the mind doesn't have the necessary peace, if mind is not focused and concentrated, it's restless, we cannot practice meditation. So let's start with that. The nerves can be weak or the nerves can be strong. If one have a weak nervous system, the mind is restless. The body and mind is so closely associated that if there's restlessness in the body, that is detected in the mind. So if there's weaknesses in the nervous system, then the mind detects that restlessness that occurs from the weak nervous system. So by regular practice of asana, the nerves are strengthened. The whole nervous system are strengthened. The brain is the center of the nervous system, and then we have the peripheral nervous system, and they are all strengthened by the practice of asana. Then we have the glandular system. I'm especially talking about the endocrine glands, pineal gland, pituitary gland, thyroid gland, thymus gland in the chest, pancreas, which is both an organ and a gland, and then we have adrenal glands, and then we have the testes for male and ovaries for females. What's the function of the gland? The glands produces hormones. And what we know from biology is that hormones are also known as molecules of emotions. Hormones create emotions. Emotions disturb meditation. So important part here is to strengthening the hormone secretion, or say balancing the hormone secretion, so that one can go deeper into meditation. I'll give one example. In the neck here we have the thyroid gland. Thyroid gland secrete a hormone known as thyroxine. If one have an overly high secretion of thyroxine, the person becomes very restless. The mind is restless. The person cannot concentrate deeply. It's the mind that is restless. So that means the person cannot do proper meditation. If there's low secretion of thyroxine, the person becomes lethargic, tendencies towards depression. That person can neither do meditation. So by yoga asanas, by pressurizing the glands, by massaging the glands through yoga postures, the glands start to secrete the optimal amount of hormone. And that creates the necessary peace of mind so that we can meditate. Every person has different issues. One person may have imbalance with the pituitary gland, some may have imbalance secretion from the thyroid gland, etc. So every person do individual practice, have their own set of asanas. Those who have thyroid problems, they need to do one special, they need to certain special asana that massages that gland by pulling it or pressurizing, pulling it, pressurizing it. While someone had problem with pituitary gland or thyroid or pineal gland or pituitary gland, they need to do other sets of asana. That's why the optimal asana practice is individual. To attend a yoga class where everyone do the same asana is not the most advised for a yoga practice. Then one may not get the needed exercise those glands, those nerves, which the person need to. So asana class can be, yoga class can be fun to practice, it can be fun to practice together. Some may not have discipline to do it on their own, but everyone need to have their own individual practice in addition to that.